Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent of goal, joining you at the end of another week and one day away from Arsenal taking on Brighton at the Amex Stadium. The last game of this round of fixtures before yet another international break, and Arsenal looking to make it the perfect return during this round of fixtures as well. Would be 4 wins out of 4 in the Premier League, 5 out of 5 in all competitions. So a big game this one for Arsenal. We just don't want that momentum to dip. You don't want to have the massive high from beating Spurs last weekend and then suddenly for it to sort of come crashing down with a bad performance and a bad result at Brighton tomorrow. So really big game this one for Arsenal, just to keep that momentum and really keep the mood rising ahead of what's going to be a really crucial period of the season after this international break in the run-up to the festive period. So I'll talk about that game in this video, go over a few of the comments from Mikel yesterday, a little bit of team news, end with my predicted 11, that sort of things. I should be at Brighton tomorrow. There's a slight chance I might not go. There's a family issue going on that might mean that I can't make the journey to Brighton, but at the moment I am scheduled to do it, so hopefully I will be there. But if I'm not, that's the reason why. Okay, let's start really. I wanted to talk on the main sort of team selection issue for Mikel tomorrow, and that all revolves around Granit Xhaka and the fact he's not going to be available. It's going to be, what is Mikel going to do? What are we going to see? Are we going to see... He's basically got 2 options to replace Granit Xhaka. You replace Xhaka with Sambi Lokonga, or you replace Granit with Nicolas Pepe and totally rejig the formation that he used against Spurs. So that's the issue. What do you do? Do you bring in Sambi or do you bring in Pepe? If you bring in Sambi, obviously you're going to stick 4-2-3-1. You're going to have Sambi and Thomas Partey next to each other. Then you'll stick with the front 4 that played so well against Tottenham. So you'll have Saka, Odegaard, Smith-Rowe, and then Aubameyang up front. But if you want to change the formation completely, and you want to bring in Nicolas Pepe and have an extra goal threat, then obviously Mikel can do what he did against Burnley at Turf Moor, and you can play Thomas Partey on his own, and you can have Martin Odegaard and Emil Smith-Rowe playing just ahead of him in the sort of midfield central 3. Then you can bring in Pepe out wide, Saka out wide, and Aubameyang up front. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Mikel does to that. Does he think Thomas Partey will have enough to be able to cope on his own in that area in front of the back 4 away at Brighton? Or does he think he needs, or will Mikel think he needs 2 central midfielders against a Brighton team we all know have started the season very, very well? Would have gone top with a win against Palace on Monday night. Didn't do it, but still got that morale boost in last minute equaliser at Palace. So they'll be going into the game feeling pretty good about themselves. Got a couple of injury issues themselves. Yves Bissouma might not make it. We're not sure yet. And that will be a big miss for them because we know how good he can be in central midfield. So interesting to know what you think. Personally, I think for this one, given the way Brighton play, given the way they like to keep the ball, I personally think I'd go with 2 in midfield. I'd have Thomas Partey and Sambi playing together. I think the way that the front 4 played last week was so good that I think you could still back them in the mood that they're in and the form that they seem to be in to really cause Brighton problems. I don't think you need to bring in Pepe and have that one extra goal threat for me. So and I really like what Smith-Rowe did from in the sort of out wide area as well against Spurs. So personally, I think that's what I would go for. I'd have the midfield 2 of Sambi and Partey, then I'd have Saka right, Odegaard in the centre, and Emil Smith-Rowe on the left, and then obviously Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang up front. But I can, I wouldn't be against seeing the 4-3-3 again. I think it's a formation that could work well with the players that Arsenal have got. And obviously, if you bring Nicolas Pepe in, then you've got that extra added goal threat. If he does bring Pepe in, though, I don't really want to see Pepe on the right. I'd want to see Pepe on the left and keep Saka out on the right, because I just think they're better that way. I don't know why he went back to having Pepe right and Saka left at the start of the season when he played them both. So yeah, I think personally for me, I think 4-2-3-1 is the option to go with against a Brighton team who we know how comfortable they are on the ball. We know how much they like to try and dominate possession and pass the ball. And yeah, I think I'd have that extra layer of security in the central midfield for this one. But as always, please do let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment in below and I shall give it a read to gauge your opinion on the situation. On Granit Xhaka, Mikel, I'm sure you've seen the comments by now from the press conference yesterday when he was talking about Xhaka and the extent of the injury. Saying on one hand it's a blow because he's going to be out for up to 3 months. On the other hand, they're quite relieved because it could have been a much more serious injury given how the injury occurred. I mean, Mikel hinted at it here when he said obviously it's a significant injury, but he probably escaped an even worse one than he could have had from that action, because that action for cruciate is a really tricky one. And then talking about how he's going to recover, he's going to say his mentality is top. He knows what he needs to do. Hopefully he can escape surgery as well. That is something that is really important. And after that, start preparing himself in the best way possible because time flies. And we've already seen the pictures yesterday. Granit Xhaka was at London Colney. He was working on the exercise bikes with that knee strapped up alongside Sead Kolasinac. So he's already there working on his recovery. The fact he doesn't need surgery or doesn't look like he needs surgery at the moment obviously is a big boost for him, for Arsenal. They believe they can get him back without having to go under the knife, and you want to try and avoid surgery as best as you possibly can. So that is good news for Arsenal. And like Mikel said, the way that injury happened, there was genuine fears when he went off that it could well be a cruciate ligament injury, and we know what that means. 10 months out just on the recovery, and then you've got sometimes 6 months, a year until players get back to playing to anywhere near their top level. So yes, it's frustrating that Granit's out for 3 months, but it could have been, as Mikel said, could have been an awful lot worse. And it does give others an opportunity. And if you're an Ainsley Maitland-Niles, for example, if you're a Mohamed El-Neni, certainly if you're Sambi Lokonga, you want an opportunity. You're guys behind Granit. You're thinking, I want to be playing. I want to be given an opportunity. They're certainly going to have that now. I'd say Sambi is certainly at the top of that line, and then you've probably got, I would say El-Neni's ahead of Maitland-Niles in the pecking order, in Arteta's pecking order. I'm not saying mine, but in Arteta's, just because of the sheer amount of games that El-Neni played last season over Ainsley Maitland-Niles. But maybe Ainsley has forced his way ahead of Mohamed El-Neni in the pecking order. Now, we've seen Ainsley come on as substitute recently, so he might well have an opportunity. And Mikel, speaking about him, said Ainsley is certainly one of the options. We've used him quite a lot since the start of the season. He's doing really well, and I'm pleased with what I've seen from him. Personally, I'd be playing, if I had a choice between Maitland-Niles and Mohamed El-Neni in terms of who plays out of those two, it'd be Maitland-Niles all day long. But I do think out of all the players Arsenal have got who are the most similar to Granit in terms of the way Granit plays and likes to drop deep and receive the ball from the back four, you'd say Mohamed El-Neni is the closest to that. The only issue is, while Granit, and I know a lot of you think that he doesn't, but he does, and the stats prove he does, Granit passes the ball forward and he splits the lines at times and he gets the ball to the attackers. When Mohamed El-Neni has the ball, he rarely does that. His preference, as we all know, is sideways, safe passes, sometimes backwards, and it can frustrate supporters, it can frustrate teammates. We've seen that at times as well. So that's why personally I'd go with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, but I just still think if Arteta's looking for an out-and-out replacement in his squad in terms of what Granit can do and coming back and getting the ball off the back four, he would probably look more perhaps towards Mohamed El-Neni. But Sambi Lokonga is in the house now, thankfully, after that summer move from Anderlecht, and I think out of all of them, he's certainly top of the pecking order when it comes to replacing Granit Xhaka. So I'd expect him, if anyone's going to come in, and it is going to be a straight-for-like swap in terms of central midfielder for central midfielder on Saturday, I think certainly Sambi is the one who will be coming in to do that. Interesting comments from Emerson Royal. Obviously, Spurs is new right back after that summer move from Barcelona. He's been talking about his move to Tottenham, but he also talked about Arsenal. Arsenal were interested in Emerson Royal. There was the possibility of the swap with Hector Bellerin that was being discussed. And this is what Emerson Royal had to say during a recent interview. He said, I actually had conversations with Edu. I did talk to Edu in the same week that he moved to Spurs. And we talked. He showed me the desire of the club and such. And of course, I needed Barcelona. I couldn't settle anything with anyone. Barcelona had to deal with the club. And that's where Barcelona went and found a deal with Tottenham. So, revolving doors, sliding doors type moment. Arsenal could well have gone into this season with Emerson Royal at right back had they been able to agree a deal with Barcelona. Didn't happen, and now they've got Tomiyasu and Emerson Royal is at Tottenham. Who got the better deal out of that one? I think certainly from the early signs we all know that it looks like Arsenal, because Tomiyasu has been absolutely fantastic so far. I wrote a piece about Tomiyasu actually that went out today. Please do have a look. I've put it out on social media this morning. Go and have a look at it. I spoke to Andre Pinto, who is the sporting director at St Trudens in Belgium, and is the man who first brought Tomiyasu to Europe from Japan. He gave me some really good insight into the player and his mentality, his character on and off the pitch. So please do go and have a little read of that if you can. Okay, before I go then quickly, I mean, team news-wise, there's not much to report. It's just Granit Xhaka, barring anything happening today in what will be Arsenal's last session ahead of the game against Brighton on Saturday. Granit Xhaka is the only senior player unavailable, so that is a big boost for Arsenal and for Arteta. Still in very good shape, the squad. But in terms of my predicted 11, I think you probably already know this, given what I've said earlier on in the video in terms of what I think might well happen. I'm going to go for just the one change from the team that started against Spurs, and that change is going to be Sambi in for Granit. So I think Mikel is going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 for this one away at Brighton, rather than go for the 4-3-3 that he went for at Burnley. So my predicted 11, what I think Mikel is going to do tomorrow: Ramsdale obviously in goal, Tomiyasu right back, Ben White centre back, Gabriel centre back, Kieran Tierney on the left of the back four, then a central midfield pair of Sambi and Thomas Partey, and then a front four of Saka, Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So there's my predicted 11. Right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, hopefully I will be at Brighton tomorrow. Slight chance I won't be because of some family issues that are going on. So if you don't see me popping up on social media or doing any videos, anything like that, that is the reason why. So I apologise in advance. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be able to make the trip to the Amex. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Enjoy your Friday. I'll speak to you soon.